right, ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing? It's Thursday, January the 16th, 2020. I hope you're having a great day. Welcome to another episode of Music of Destruction right here on YouTube. So tonight we are taking another trip into the depths of blackness and despair with another black metal review from my own personal collection. Yes, tonight we are having a look at Xasthur-The Funeral of Being, and this is the vinyl version, and I got this back in 2015, and believe it or not, I paid near $200 for this because this is a first pressing of this release, and it was never repressed again on vinyl. Just give you guys a look at it here. So yeah, this is very important to me. All my records are very important to me, and I can't wait to get a proper turntable so that I can play them without them getting damaged, because right now I have like a 3-in-1 music center thing, and it's not really that great of quality. I don't want them to get wrecked. I've spent a lot of fucking money collecting vinyls and cassettes and CDs. It just never ends. So yeah. This is his second full-length album and was released on From Beyond Productions, and considered to be by some the essential Xasthur release. I definitely think it's one of his best for sure, but I would say that every Xasthur record is an essential release, as it is another chapter in the dark, desolate world that Malefic's mind inhabits while he performs under the name Malefic and while he makes Xasthur's music. Now, it costed me $200. Now, you might be asking, why did you spend $200 on the vinyl? Well, because to me, if you're going to buy music, buy all versions of the physical media, buy everything you can. If you truly are a fan of something, buy as much of it as you possibly can. That's just how I feel. And yeah, so if you're looking for this vinyl, it's going to be really hard to find. You are going to be spending some money, so be prepared to shell out between $150 to $200. That's what I paid for it, but it's well worth it, as you do get some bonus tracks here. You get Dwelling Beneath the Woods, Dimension of the Blackest Dark, which are vinyl-only tracks, and Dimension of the Blackest Dark is a Forgotten Woods cover, and it's a really good version, and Malefic really does know how to cover these artists really well. I'm just going to give you another look at the gatefold here. It's absolutely beautiful. And this is in really good condition too. So I take very good care of my vinyls. And no, don't ask me to trade or sell them, because it won't happen. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and turn on the bell for all notifications. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Search Music of Destruction. Join the Facebook group by going to facebook.com/groups/Music of Destruction. Get access to exclusive patron-only content and perks by going to patreon.com/Music of Destruction. Select the $5 tier. The Seed podcasts are ongoing. Episode 16, the History of Black Sabbath, Part 1 is up there right now. I've done the History of Black Metal as well, if you want to check those out. There's a whole bunch of good stuff on there. Part 2 is coming up January 21st. It's going to be the History of Black Sabbath Part 2, so make sure you check that out, and thank you for your support. Also, make sure you check out Heavy Metal Networks on YouTube. Anthony, Chris, and Mop are also in the band Diabolic Intent. Old school death metal from Florida. Great friends, great guys. I can't wait to review their upcoming album and interview these guys as well. It's going to be an absolute blast. It's going to be a great time. Podcast is called The Dirt, so look forward to that. And thank you to Anthony, Chris, and Mop for keeping in touch with me. I really appreciate it. Now, on to the descent into this incredible, dark, desolate album that is Xasthur-The Funeral of Being. And as I said in my Nocturnal Poisoning review, and you can check that out right up there in the corner of the screen right now, it should be popping up for you. This is the second chapter of this incredible, dark, twisted experience and journey into the mind of a soul that has long been dead inside. Perhaps this is a strange interpretation, and for some it may very well be. For me, it's an intricate journey that I find myself constantly hypnotized by, and often enchanted by as well, in its misanthropic, suicidal glory and celebration of all things negative. I mean, in all honesty, this is nothing short of cosmic dejection and complete otherworldly despair that only Malefic himself is capable of creating. And many will be far removed from its musical genius and prowess because it will simply be unlistenable to people who find more enjoyment in music that is easier to stomach, process, digest, and comprehend. Now, I honestly believe that there aren't many other elites in the underground black metal scene that could even come close to what Malefic has achieved through Xasthur's illustrious black metal offerings. Now, one might argue, however, that it can become repetitive and more of the same with each release. But let me ask you this. Why the hell are you looking for enjoyable music if you're into black metal in the first place? What you aren't going to find here is new ideas or anything groundbreaking that the common music fan is going to find enjoyable. But that's the point. This is, after all, a genre that prides itself on artistic stagnation, with many artists opting for incorporating a lot of the same ideas album to album with some new nuances here and there to give it a small sense of variety. But in Xasthur's case, I don't really think it would be as effective and would have worked nearly as well if Malefic gave a shit about pleasing people with his music. No, what you are going to find here is an even darker trip into blackness, desolation, and hatred. This is one of Malefic's darkest releases, and I often wonder if he is even aware of how shattered and bleak the walls of these compositions are, and what they are comprised of in this album's case. The production is once again raw, muddy, and completely bleak and dark in its atmospheric intensity. The riffing is not something that you're going to enjoy unless you know black metal already and its sound and aesthetics. They are cold, they are chilling, terrifying, and completely void of hope and peace in any sense of the fucking word. The awakening to the unknown perception of evil is the opening track here, and that's exactly what it sounds like in my honest opinion, and you get completely surrounded by its hypnotic black gaze of atmosphere and intensity with incredibly fast double bass drumming. But this one feels like a panic attack and a nightmare from hell, simultaneously colliding and evaporating your very sense of being. The mortal coil vanishes away and instantly flashes you into a complete black void of nothingness and terror, where everything confuses you, yet somehow you hear the call of the instrumentation, returning you to sanity, but you're still trapped in the walls of this icy prison state of consciousness, just screaming for a way out. Yet its hypnotic gaze and trance keep you coming back to it, almost like a duality is battling for control over you as you try and make sense of this fucking wretched ice-cold black world that you have no fucking clue of how you arrived in. Tyrant of Nightmares sounds like the coming of a beast straight from the most nightmarish planes of existence that lurks and waits in the dark to feed on your fucking soul one breath at a time. There's a strange sense of calmness that breathes through the riffing and drumming. However, Malefic's vocals only serve to terrify you even more here and make you forget that you're even human at times. And it's very difficult to make sense of the dissonance and despair that these riffs are conveying. The flesh of your body will freeze as Malefic's voice and cold instrumentation wrap themselves around you, pulling you into their icy cold gaze of all things misanthropic and suicidal. However, this isn't suicidal in the literal sense of the word. This is suicidal in the case of the music itself, almost as if it's so fucking bleak that the sounds and walls of noise want to stop existing, with Malefic falling closely behind you, just waiting for the knife to strike your throat. In fact, you could swear that the mirror's gaze is where this music resides in every time you look at it. It calls you to break the glass and puncture your vessel and bleed out for the entire duration of the album. Am I being overdramatic here? No, I am not. This isn't something that you will easily make sense of or perhaps want to comprehend or even understand. But this is Xasthur after all, and this is what he expresses and wants you to feel. And in a nutshell, it's pure, unadulterated fucking misery and hatred and all of the emotions in between. Moments of deep confusion, terror, anxiety, and misanthropic despair are always lurking close by and very prevalent on this release, and often exist simultaneously at times. You don't get very much breathing room except during the cold ambient interludes that constantly sound like the harmonies of an ancient funeral dirge that is so damn sick in its melancholy that you don't want to continue on further. Sigils made of flesh and trees is so fucking ice cold that it instantly freezes your blood, veins, skin, and eyes, and will make you wish you were already dead by this time. Malefic's vocals are so damn dripping with hatred and malice that at times you might wonder how the fuck someone could even conceive something so goddamn dark and hateful, but what emits from your speakers is pure terror and misanthropic pain at its most vile state. This is something that not many understand, of course, and I don't know too many people who love misanthropic black metal. But I digress, because for those of us who understand these mental states of ash and blackness, it's rather comforting and relaxing to hear these passages of despair, and we find solace in its black walls of nothingness and hopeless abandon. Is it strange? Well, not really if you know what I'm talking about. In fact, one thing you can rely on with all of Xasthur's music is once you know what he wants to express, you can pretty much get used to it. But I say that with the utmost skepticism because I know for a fact that most people will not enjoy this kind of artistic expression. The album continues on with its insane, morbid passages through keyboard interludes once again before breaking into Blood from the Roots of the Forest Part 1. Part 2 was the ambient interlude before this track. Don't ask me why he numbers things backwards. That's just what he does. The ice-cold riffs and almost blizzard-like white noise that emit from your speakers during this feels like a melancholic storm on Pluto. And in all honesty, that's how far away from Earth you're going to feel while embarking on this experience with The Funeral of Being. The song continues to chill you to the fragments of sanity and reason as it continues with its saturating melancholic icy riffing and hypnotic walls of dissonance and pain-filled screams and shrieks of agony and defeat. However, Malefic doesn't want to let you fall upwards, letting you believe that he has stopped. No, he doesn't want you to escape these chambers of pain that he crafts with this album. Rather than give you a sense of hope and relief, he continues to pile on the despair even thicker as the album continues to unfold and weave itself through darkened corridors of black hell and suicidal euphoria that almost at times feels like the music itself is alive and a conscious entity emitting from Malefic like a second being that was fashioned from all of his hatred and despair. It only gets increasingly morbid on the absolute masterpiece that is Reflecting Hateful Energy, which sounds like an attack of so much fucking darkness that you would swear you never knew light to begin with, and there's nothing even resembling life. Almost like being born into death without having ever known life has existed at all. Now you might be asking, how on earth could one create something so fucking bleak and hopeless? Well, the only answer I have for you is take a look at the world around you outside of your door. Sure, there's plenty of beauty and many things in nature to celebrate and embrace, but it's the human race and all of its disgusting entitlement, greed, cruelty, and stupidity that Malefic is writing about in his offerings of black, misanthropic weaponry. Now, let's check out some of Reflecting Hateful Energy right here on Music of Destruction. this journey is a long one as well, clocking in at another 60 plus minutes. But with all of the album's intensity and hypnotic spellbinding instrumentation and compositional brilliance, why would you be complaining about it being too long? All I can say is be fucking prepared and never look for light again if you take this journey, because it's going to strip you of all fucking hope and reason, and that's exactly what the album should do. This music is for people who know what drew them to it in the first place. Don't expect relief or a shred of peace when you listen to this, because it doesn't exist within Xasthur's music. Now, the vinyl version also has some bonus tracks, but I'll leave that to you to discover on your own. And now we come to the final verdict for Xasthur-The Funeral of Being, and I'm giving this masterpiece a 10 out of 10. Like I said, I'd be hard-pressed to find anyone more capable of delivering as much fucking isolation, despair, and hatred in such a convincing fashion as Xasthur does. But I do own a lot of black metal, so we shall see in future reviews if anything lives up to Malefic's offerings here. And I'm just going to tell you right now, if you love this kind of music, you owe it to yourself to purchase Xasthur's music, because you're going to get exactly what you want out of the music. I want to give some shout outs to some really awesome friends of mine. Shadows of Death Records, thank you very much to Gail Cartwright for working with me. Also a shout out to Sagrado, going to be interviewing them. Steven isn't feeling very well right now. We were going to do the interview today, but we got to wait for Steven to get better. Get better, buddy. I can't wait to have you guys on the channel. Also a shout out to Heavy Metal Networks. Once again, make sure you check them out. Backwoods Metal, Farley's Nerd Cave, as well as King of Swords and Acid Metal. Great YouTubers there. Check them out. They would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Have yourselves an awesome night. Hit the subscribe button and stay fucking metal. We will see you guys in the next video.